Yes, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing out there? This is Intergalactic Interviews, and this is episode 104. Or is it 104? Who knows? We'll only know when we get to 110, because that's actually how you say that. How you doing, folks? Are you having a great week? I'm having a fantastic time. Did you miss us last week? Maybe not. It was a long weekend. Maybe you loved us. Maybe you didn't get your week started off right. Well, guess what? We're going to start your week off right and correct right now by letting you know about a fantastic offer. If you go online right now to floathouse.ca, you can find yourself the best offer I can probably give you right now to check out the premier isolation tank experience in the Lower Mainland. Do you know what that is, Mr. Saavedra?
That would be Floathouse.
Floathouse.ca, ladies and gentlemen. Go to floathouse.ca right now and use our podcast promo code IIPodcast, and you can save how much, Saavedra?
That would be 20% off of your float experience.
God damn, that's a lot of money to save on an experience that totally benefits your mind, body, and soul. What? Ladies and gentlemen, let's get serious for a sec. It's amazing. It's a super clean facility. It's full of educated people that'll love to share with you their own experiences and put you on the right path. It's like a spa for your mind. You get your own beautifully plush house coat and private tank. It's fantastic. Our guest today, Sean Ramjagsingh. Rammer loves it.
I'm going to leave right now and go in the tank.
That's right. See? It's a hell of a sell, hell of a pitch. What can I say? We love where we are, and we love to float, and you should float. We float. You should float. Let's try it out. Go to floathouse.ca. Use our podcast promo code IIPodcast. Oh, yeah. Get 20% off. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with a man making a return to the scene. Maybe I should introduce our table here first. To my immediate right, I have, let's see, I'm going to say the sadistic Michael Saavedra, but he's not that sadistic. He's actually a great guy.
Sure, let's go with that. I'll go with that.
Stupendously sadistic Michael Saavedra.
How you doing?
We also have the corporeal, carnivorous Chris Martin to my immediate far right.
He's back.
Yeah, he is back, actually. This is the return of Chris Martin. And you know who else is making his triumphant return to the show is... I'm going to say this right now. Let's use some alliteration. The ravishing,
rambunctious.
The rambunctious. Nice one. Nice. We're going to go full alliteration on this. Ravishing, rambunctious, and the reverent Sean Ramjagsingh. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the return of Rammer. Give it up. Let's just do it. Boom.
There you go. There you go.
That was a mouthful, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, that was a mouthful. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
It's been a while since we've had you on our show, and we appreciate you making your return to the show.
Excited to be here as always.
It's just like you left it, isn't it?
It's no. No.
Yeah, we had basically a complete different full-scale turn since last time. I think we were in a bank vault last time, sweating, and now we're just sweating in
warm.
a different room.
With lights and some light and
what? Yeah, there's like crazy moss on the wall, and we're here at beautiful Floathouse Studios. It's fantastic.
Will I fit in the tank? That's what I got to figure out.
You know, I was just talking with Mike Zaremba outside, who's a co-owner of this place, runs the place, and that's why he was asking. He's like, "How tall is Rammer?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think he's like 6'10". Is that you're 6'10", right?
6'11".
6'11".
Wow, I undersold you at the front there. I said 6'10".
6'11". So I tried to shave an inch off there, and he was like, "Oh, it might be tight, But I don't know. I'm sure we can make that fit. They're huge tanks. They're giant tanks. Like, I mean, if you think about the commercial scale that they need to be able to accommodate, like it has to be able to accommodate all walks of life.
What do you mean?
I'm trying to say collegiate players of all walks, collegiate ball players, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What are you trying to say, MD? Jesus.
Just trying to understand.
Yeah. I came all the way down here to do this show, not to be insulted. I wanted to say thank you for coming to do the show again, because funny enough, we ran into Alex Sparling on the way down here, and he's a character. He's a cut up. We love that guy. But last time we interacted on a podcast format, yourself and myself, we were on Knights of Dunsmuir, I believe, and we were just doing playoff predictions.
That's right.
Did I or did I not predict that Habs would sweep the Lightning in 4?
You did.
Yes.
You did.
That's an official
100%.
remembrance.
That's not even a prediction. You just would always say that anyway.
That's true.
That's just your baseline thought.
I love to cut to the clip.
So he's like
right
1
now.
for 36
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 for 36. I mean, those are a hell of odds out there. I'll play those. That's like roulette. Let's do that. The funny thing is though, Rammer did really well with those predictions too, if I recall. I think you did pretty well all throughout the first and second round, and I think no one really got.
No, it fell apart after that, I think.
But you came in. You were so prepared. You were the only guest that came in with like stat lines and like brackets. You had everything all laid out.
Making notes.
I was like, wow, you actually brought brackets and stuff. You didn't just write it in your phone. You're like, no, I put some thought into this.
That's right.
I appreciate that. That was
That's
good.
right.
And just with that level of expertise, I appreciate the fact you're going to sit with us and chat a little bit about. Obviously, we got to talk about the game coming out tomorrow. NHL 17 available in North America September 13th, 2016. It's a lot of numbers to remember off the top of the head.
Just think, what is it, an hour and a half from now?
An hour and a half.
An hour and a half from now in Vancouver?
That's right,
Hour
actually.
and a half in back east?
And look at you spending this time with us when you should
That's right.
easily be with your family, enjoying yourself. There's no way you should be with us. We appreciate that.
Trolling forums, just like reading comments as it goes live.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about this for a minute. It's available worldwide on the 15th. Right?
15th, that's right.
Which is
Thursday.
Thursday, right?
Thursday,
So
yep.
Thursday. So this will be out, this episode, hopefully. I'm going to try and get this out in like 24 hours. Hopefully this goes out right away. But I just moved. We just bought a place in the city.
Nice.
Outside, within the city.
Yeah.
And it's just been chaos. So everything's boxed up and everything today. I had to scramble to find the hard drive today to do this. I was like, oh yeah, we got to do the show. And I was like, fuck. It's buried under all these articles of clothing and
Two cats.
two cats and knickknacks, basically. Yeah. So it was kind of an issue there. But let me ask this: with the game coming out, it's getting really good reviews.
Yep.
It's getting stronger reviews than last year's game.
Yep.
Seeing as how you see things on like such a broad, an annual entry, let me ask: what is it like to see that kind of reaction after you guys are pulling yourselves up by your bootstraps from a public opinion? Well, how does it feel like?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great. It's fantastic because it's what we do in sports. It's just a really aggressive cycle, and before NHL 17 hits the shelves, we're already thinking about NHL 18, figuring out what we want to put in the game. So with NHL 17, probably 14 months ago, we started thinking about what the feature set was going to be. And, for me in my role to see all the features come together, and you have an idea of how you want it all to come together, but until you actually see it, you don't know what you have. And then you see it, and then you need to validate it. And you really can't validate it until fans get their hands on it. So we do that with the beta, and you start getting, get the feedback from the beta, you apply some of the feedback, you see the positive reaction, you feel like you're onto something, you got some good momentum leading into launch. So, for us to be, a couple hours away from launch here right now, and see the positive feedback, it's exciting.
It is pretty exciting. I think what also is exciting, if I could throw this out, is I think we're live now on Facebook.
We are live on
Facebook. How you doing, folks? Maybe some people will start gathering in there shortly. You just say hello. How you guys doing? We're here with Sean Ramjagsingh, a.k.a. Rammer, more affectionately known as Rammer.
There you go.
I would like to... I'd like to ask the audience right now if there's questions out there they'd like us to ask Rammer. Within reason, something like, why can't you play as the Edmonton Eskimos in NHL? That's just, it's a Canadian thing.
Is that not a thing?
Yeah.
It's on the list for next year.
It's on the list.
Next year. We just put it on the list right now.
Yeah. How many times do you get to say that? It's on the list for next year.
Well, we put it, people always ask where we get our ideas from. We have long lists all the time. And I always tell people this, that, fans get to experience what we ship on the disc, but what they don't get to see is all the stuff that didn't make it in. Mm-hmm. So that's where we start for the next year, is look at the list that we have and what didn't make it in, and see what still applies, see what's still applicable, see what's going on in the world of hockey, what's going on in the world of games, do they still make sense, and then start from there, take the feedback from the fans, and go.
That's smart. I like how engaged EA has been with their particular... The way you guys do your Q&A format now, where people submit questions and then you personally are answering them, right? Like I'm seeing your avatar repeatedly up there. I like that it's kind of crowdsourced in that way, like because then you get the best questions, kind of like what we're doing now, where it's like you get the live feedback, the live questions. I like that. We've talked about this before, where you kind of serve as like a lightning rod in some respects for a lot of the open criticism that comes out or support. This year, though, it must be a bit of a relief in terms of like how people are reacting.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just saw some of the reviews that came out a couple hours ago. Looks like things are looking very promising.
Yeah.
I got to tell you this. On a personal note, I don't play online particularly as much as, say, a lot of people. I know that Hut is like the biggest mode, worldwide. It's like this giant mode.
Yeah.
I don't particularly play that mode. I do like the way that this draft champions thing is looking, though.
Yeah.
I could actually see myself maybe putting some time into that. That looks
Yeah.
pretty cool. But I am way more of a GM mode franchise guy. So this franchise mode, it's been rebranded, right?
It's no longer be a GM. We're calling it franchise mode because there's so much new stuff there for you.
It is. I love the fact that this is something I've always wanted to do, is like be able to manipulate ticket prices and like jersey prices and things like that. Because that's what it is. Like I want to be able to turn a franchise around. I want to be able to go in and like fix something. Like I'm a huge Habs fan, but like the idea
Weird.
of going.
I didn't know that.
Did you know? Yeah, new fact, guys.
This is shocking.
Shocking
news right now.
Yeah, I'm just big fan. But I just want to say, like, although it may seem like, I'm going to jump right in there and try and fix things there, it's like that's not fun to me because it's already it's this existentialism kind of thing where I want to actually jump into like Columbus or something like that, where
Right.
I'm like, okay, what can we do with like all these pieces they have, or like maybe more relevant something like Edmonton. And say, okay, here's a team with a lot of good pieces, but how do we move this around? Because the fantasy element plays in. Now, I don't even play fantasy hockey or football or anything like that. It's just this scratches that itch for me.
Totally. And I think it's interesting you said the word fantasy because when I look at the games that we make right now, our sports games specifically, and we try to understand why people are playing, there's so many different, there's so many distractions right now. We're competing for people's time with every game that we put out there. And, when people play NHL, there's really, in my opinion, there's three primary reasons why people play. And the first one is competition. So when I play against my buddies on the couch to talk smack and to win, or I play online against fans and I try and win. That's what I get out of sports games. There's also the fantasy element like yourself, the guys who just want to live in those offline worlds, the be a pros, the franchise mode, and try and manipulate that world and win as many Stanley Cups as you can or make as much money as you can this year in franchise mode.
Right.
And the other piece is just like the social piece where people are going to get together on Friday. I'm still going to get together with my buddies on Friday night, but it's less about me beating my buddy at the game itself and us getting together, having a few pops together and playing NHL or playing online against my buddies overseas using NHL. So the game is a vehicle for social interaction. So
Right.
there's just three real motivations, and for us, it's important that we deliver experiences against those motivations every single year. So when you're the fantasy guy and you're like, well, I wonder what's new with the franchise mode or be a GM this year. Is there enough there for me to decide to purchase it? We can tell you exactly what those things are, and you can make your decision.
It is so cool that the level of depth that you guys have placed in the game this year. The overall structure of how your scouting system moves into like in your drafting and the way you can develop players, and I like the way you guys have kind of shifted gears in the last few years. A lot of people point to the last game, not counting the Legacy Edition.
Yep.
A lot of people point to the last game of the last gen, which
Yep.
was NHL 14, I
yep.
believe. And 15 was definitely the Legacy version was like the updated rosters and whatnot. But they point to that and they say, hey, this was like spot on. A lot of people bring up this is like bang on. And then the next gen obviously brings its own challenges. How do you look at the series developing now that you've had a couple swings of the bat, so to speak, with how you're updating? Because like you said, it's an aggressive cycle.
Yep.
Every year, you guys are right now. You're on the clock for next year already, which is insane because the game hasn't even dropped yet. But the idea that like you have this aggressive cycle you have to be responsible for. What is it like to see this third installment on the next gen?
Yeah, I think, if you look at the progression of us on this generation of console, some challenges with NHL 15, getting it onto the new hardware. 16 was about bringing back all that depth and breadth and delivering some new experiences on top of those existing modes. And this is the first year where we really have that solid foundation with NHL 16 to build upon, which is why you see this year, it's the biggest feature set we've delivered, biggest jump year on year. It's the first year in many, many years, probably since NHL 09, I think, when we introduced the Be a Pro and EA Sports Hockey for the first time, that we're delivering fundamentally like new ways to play. So revamping our franchise mode, draft champions, the World Cup of Hockey is its own playable mode, going really, really deep with our customization on top of making the other modes that are already there from last year better as well. So it's really, it's the foundation that we built over the last 2 years that's allowing us to push the boundaries so much with NHL 17.
It's so amazing. Now, some of the other series within the EA umbrella, notably like say FIFA,
Sure.
are they've made announcements regarding the new technology with Frostbite.
Yep.
And that engine. I feel like. I don't know if I remember this properly, but I feel like did your dev team, did you guys announce that you won't be moving to Frostbite with this in order to kind of save some of the elements we're discussing here?
So not yet. We won't be on Frostbite yet, but I think when you look at what EA is doing as a whole, we're doing a better job than ever before. Just sharing information, sharing designs, sharing technology, sharing learnings. So for us, seeing FIFA sort of being the first sports game in our family going to Frostbite, it's fantastic because lots of learnings. Anytime you go to new technology like that, lots and lots of learnings, which we can leverage and then figure out what the right plan is for us to get over there as well.
Yeah, kind of lets them sort out some of those bugs first and let them take it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what I was kind of curious, like how DICE is, like, do you have to interface with them or is it much more central than that?
So we do because they're the experts. In a lot of ways. So
DICE being
Digital Extreme
people at home.
Yeah. So the the FIFA team this year spent a lot of time working with them. And again, that's the great thing about EA. It's just the size of the organization. We can just leverage the size to our advantage, and we can power through some challenging situations, and we can share learnings. We can take people from DICE and bring over here and work on FIFA or whatever game needs the help, just to help bring the expertise to where it needs to be.
Yeah. Well, if there's ever a time to take advantage of that, that would be it. If you're going to be this giant company, corporation, it makes sense.
Absolutely.
The game itself, when you look at it, because it's so ready to release right now.
Yep.
Again, available in stores tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. This game, this version, what is it you personally are excited about? What's your favorite thing about when you're like, oh, I can't wait to blank?
Yeah, I actually can't wait to. So first of all, I can't wait to play online against other people. That's the first piece. You
got some like sick tech, just like gonna like trounce some noobs early.
Well, I talked about the yes. I talked about like the vision for the game. You start off and you like we talk about gameplay specifically. You have this vision for the new features you're going to put in. We're going to focus on just tightening up and giving more control than ever before, using the feedback from the fans and new goalies and net battles, and so you have a vision how those changes you're going to make are going to impact the end user experience and how you envision the game to play after you've put all that stuff in. And along the way, we kind of bob and weave a little bit in development, and we make different decisions, and we tune and tweak, and we adjust and we change. And then you put it out there in the beta or when the game goes live, and everyone's so competitive. You actually don't know how they're going to play the game. You have this vision for them. You want them to play them. You want them to dump the puck in and chase it. And stuff like that. Who plays dump and chase in a video game? Not very many people do that. So it's important that we get out there and start playing against people and seeing how people are trying to game the game, really, right? Get the upper hand. And I don't blame people. People talk about glitch goals and people are trying to score
the wraparound,
or whatever it is. I don't blame people when I play them for trying to do those things over and over and over again. Something in their head or something that we have in the game has made them feel like that's the best way to give them the best percentage chance of scoring every single time down the ice. So a lot of guys will mess with me and say, "Hey, there's a glitch goal. I can score the wraparound every single time." I said, well, okay, you're doing that are you doing it in practice? Yeah, I'm doing it in practice. Okay, well, how many times in a game can you actually do it?
In a game situation.
Over the network.
Because that environment changes so drastically.
There's so many more moving parts, right? Like, people talk about like a cross-crease goal as an example. And a cross-crease goal in hockey is a great goal to score. And you're going to score a bulk of the time that you try it if you can get the pass through and make it happen.
Sure.
Guess what? Teams try and defend the cross-crease pass because of how dangerous it is. So there's a bit of balance there, right? So we got to make sure that the game is as balanced as possible at all times, that there's no one way to score that's overpowered over the the other ways that you can score. And that's our job. And again, it's important for us to play the game to actually see the way that people are playing it, the way people are trying to get the most out of the game, because it may not necessarily be the exact way that we envisioned it when we first kind of put those features in there.
See, I admire this about you because I think a lot of people in a dev cycle like this, especially as aggressive as what we just described.
9 months.
Yeah, exactly. 9 months, right? Yeah, basically. Right? I think that's pretty admirable that your first thing you want to do is not relax, but like to play it so you can improve upon what you're doing and just have better understanding of the market that's purchasing the game. That's pretty awesome. And I think it's a tough situation out there. anytime you open yourself to a market that is, as demanding as the video game market is, it's weird that sports titles kind of have this additional little like niche to it. What do you attribute that to? Like, because it seems, I'm just throwing this out there.
Yep.
I know SimCity had issues with whatever a couple years ago.
Online only.
Right. But I think that was more of a gamer-wide thing,
right,
where people were just like, hey, this is a dramatic change to everything, so
yep,
we're concerned about it. Whereas, like, I'm trying to say, like, the Plants vs. Zombies team doesn't have to deal with, like, what you're dealing with. Like, where they're like, what do you mean I can't change to the third jersey of, the Atlanta Flames, that kind of thing. And, like, the Atlanta Flames haven't been a team, guys, for, like, decades and decades. Which, by the way, actually, those jerseys probably are included, though, aren't they?
I believe they are, yeah.
They are, actually,
they are,
yeah. So just throwing
yep,
just so hypothetical guy, that actually does exist. So just so you know, like this guy. But yeah, like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, they don't have to deal with the same kind of aggressive nature that you have to deal with consistently.
Well, I think that, so a couple things I'll say. I think first of all, when you're dealing with sports, you got people that are extremely passionate about their sports. And I think we fall into that category. So people are playing a game, the people that are like myself that are playing it for the competition. You want to win, and losing is not fun. So I think people are just extremely passionate just because they're sports fans at heart. The second thing is, even Plants vs. Zombies, or all games out there have fans that are extremely passionate about it. So people probably aren't complaining about the jerseys in Plants vs. Zombies, but there's probably other stuff because these guys put so many hours into this pastime, this piece of entertainment, that they find the little things that just bug them. And now with social media and forums and stuff like that, there's a channel for people to have conversations about the things that are bothering them in the game, and also a chance for them, probably more importantly, there's a chance for them to be heard by developers and have developers go and take that feedback and then go make a change to the game itself. Because it's our job to take the feedback from everywhere, figure out how much of that feedback, how many people have that same feedback for us. And if enough people out there have the same feedback, there's something we got to do about it, because enough people feel the same way about that situation. So, we've talked before about just kind of social media and stuff like that. And
I don't want to retread.
But when people reach out to me and people call it trolling or whatever it is, what people don't see is a lot of times I will go back to them through DM so people can't see it. And if someone says I don't like the game, there's nothing I can't do anything with that. But, but there's something behind that, right? There's something behind them saying that too. So I'll reach out to them through direct message and ask them, say, sorry you feel that way, but talk to me more about why you don't like it.
Right.
And a lot of times I'll be like, hey man, great to hear from you. I'm looking for this one setting in goalie controls. I'm like, well, the setting's actually there. So that's not, it's not their fault. They didn't find it. It's actually, there's the nugget in there for us is the fact that we put the setting in there. This guy who's looking for that setting can't find the setting. That's on us. That's bad UI. That's bad UX. We got to figure that out, right? So, if there's a million people out there looking for that setting and they can't find it, that's on us to fix.
That's right.
So it's getting past sort of the first wall sometimes to get to the real heart of the feedback itself.
I like that you actually put the effort into doing that. Again, that's pretty admirable, because
it's effort for sure.
I think most people just be like, all right, we'll block. That's
But it is funny, like how often people can be like, oh fuck this shit, and then you talk to them, it's like, well, actually, honestly, this great game, but I didn't like this one specific thing. You're like, oh yeah, oh okay.
I mean, a lot of times the people who are saying that they've logged thousands of hours on the game itself, but that's why they know the game in such detail and can make those comments, right? Because they put their time in, they understand what's going on, and there's these little things that bug them. These little things are the biggest thing in their experience.
Is there any good questions right now, Saavedra, on the
nothing other than telling you that the menu system is great and it looks good and works great.
Wow.
Thank you.
I think look at that. Intergalactic interview listeners, nice people. What can I say?
I'll say that, I'll say this, the menus look completely different this year, and when we talk about, we spend a lot of time on just rebranding the entire look of the game, because we wanted to go big with the entire package, and for the time people opened the game up, they felt like it was a different experience. And the other thing is, right now we spend all of our games, sports and non-sports, spend a lot of time just on the UX, making sure that people can get to where they want to get to, reducing friction points and things like that. So we put a lot of effort in that, a lot of focus testing to making sure that all of our flows are as good as possible. When we put in something complex like the franchise mode stuff we put in this year, or the customization stuff that we did, all that depth can go, out the window if people can't actually figure out how to use it properly and
Yeah.
and stuff. So lots of testing. So, I know the team would take a lot of stock in a comment like that, just because of the effort we put in to make sure that people can go where they want to go with the depth that we've added.
Absolutely. That's pretty cool because there is so much to consider with something like the franchise mode that has I don't know,
Infinite menus.
Yeah.
Think about that. And then
Yeah.
how long of a campaign can you do in that respect? Like how many years ahead?
25.
25, right?
Yep.
Like as usual, right?
Yep.
So I mean, what's 25 years from now? I can't do math. What is it? 15, 25,
2012 or something?
24, 20. What? What? Jesus. C-Mart goes away for 1 week.
Yeah, just
comes
come up
back
big
and
and
I
total.
think we're at 41.
We got a
Yeah.
couple other questions. Is there going to be a Madden 17 draft champion style in NHL
Madden?
17?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, when I talked earlier about just kind of the sharing that we're doing sort of within sports and within EA. And so Madden and FIFA both put draft champions in last year, and slightly different approaches to the mode itself, but kind of the same at the heart of it. And so for us, we followed more of the Madden model, trying to make it fast, quick, a different way of picking your team or building your team, getting comfortable with seeing players on cards and the ratings looking differently. So we're going to pre-populate your team with an average at best team. And then with a series of 12 rounds, you can upgrade 12 players on your roster. So 4 players come up at a time. You pick who you want to put in, drop them in there. Once you have your team, you take them in a game. You play up to a series of 4 games until you lose. And then you earn rewards that you can take into Hockey Ultimate Team. So
Very
it's
cool.
an
See,
introduction
that's
to Hunt,
cool.
but it's
That
really
sounds
just,
sweet.
Yeah.
I tell people this, if you want a different experience, a different way to get in gameplay, a way to play with some really, really great players. I had Crosby with Bure and Lindros on my wing the other day. It's a fun way just to get in there. And just get comfortable to sort of a drafting of players and a kind of a hut mechanic and things like that. So it's just a different mode, new experience.
Now you're talking about Valray Bure, right?
Negative on that.
How dare you? How dare you? Pavel Bure is amazing. Valray Bure? I have a Valray Bure Montreal card, I think, from way back. I remember being so excited. I have Bure, and then I had my friend had to tell me, no, you have Bure's brother, and I was like, which is what was Gretzky's brother's name? 'Cause his brother played too, right? Gretzky's brother played. Maybe someone in the chat room knows.
Gretzky.
Yes.
Was there a Brett Gretzky?
Brett Gretzky? It was Brett.
Gretzky.
Gretzky, yeah. It was Brett Gretzky. It was. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Because he had, I think he had like 1 or 2 goals. We got C-Mart looking it up right now. Yeah, is it Brett Gretzky? We'll find this out in a minute. But they hold the most goals for brothers.
Brent.
That's right.
Yeah,
Brent. There you go.
Brent Gretzky. Jesus.
The most goals for brother combination.
That's
yeah.
right. Because it's like 802 and 1 or something like that.
1-ish.
Yeah, 1-ish, 1.5, something like that. Yeah. That's kind of funny. That's pretty cool. That Draft Champions mode is really cool. I saw that it was, you mentioned that it's divided into these different classes. I saw one that was like All-Star Elite, and then the other one was like Young Canadian.
Probably Young Canadians or
That
something
one,
like that.
right,
Yeah,
yeah,
so we
yeah.
got so through the series of each of the rounds that come up in you pick a theme before going to Draft Champions,
Mm-hmm.
and the theme will influence the pool of players. So if you picked a World Cup theme as an example, you'd only get players involved in the World Cup.
Okay.
Or if you picked a Canadian theme, you'd only get Canadian players. Or a European team, same thing, you get the feel for it. So the themes just influence the type of players that are going to be in the pool that come up as your selections.
Was that a design choice to reflect maybe just like control, maybe of a, like, instead of being just a free-floating fantasy draft mode, it's like more controlled that way?
More controlled, and I think it also gives us more flexibility. We keep it fresh too, right? So we
Right.
can take the feedback from fans. If fans say they want to see, an under 24 North American young guns theme, we can do that. It's just that type of thing. So throughout there, we can put new themes out there, just keep it fresh.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Maybe like an all-time Habs. Great theme. Let's just relax. He's like, yeah, just kidding. Yeah, I do like that though. I was thinking maybe, is there any other questions on Facebook right now? Maybe we can go to Reddit if...
we have one last question here.
Okay.
Is there a competition between the NHL and FIFA, business-wise, between the
It's just one large...
the two teams?
Yeah, it's just
there
one large
competition? I think-
funnel, right? Isn't it?
I mean, I would say there's first and foremost, there's there's collaboration between all of us because we all want to see each other succeed. But of course, there's healthy competition. Everyone wants to be the best game out there and have the best features and have the most passionate fans. And I mean, people a lot of times ask me about not having a competitor in this hockey space. Having another product on the consoles. And,
right, because 2K hasn't done a game in
many years now, right? And so for us, it's our competition is FIFA, our competition is Madden, our competition is NBA 2K, our competition is that mobile phone sitting in front of you. Like we're literally, we're competing for people's time. If people aren't going to put that disc in, the NHL disc in, if they buy it and they don't put it in, they're probably not going to buy it the next year. So we need to give people a reason to put the disc in and keep playing as long as they can, and then want to come back the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, because there's lots of different options. If they're not playing NHL, they can go play FIFA, they can play Madden, they can play 2K, they can play other genres. So it's the competition for time and healthy competition just to be the best.
I like that. Let's say goodbye to Facebook real quick here. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. This episode drops in, I'm going to say 48 hours, max 24 hours, most likely. I'll let Rammer say goodbye to the folks. Go there. Boom.
See you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. And what time is it now? Go pick up NHL here in Vancouver.
An hour
and 10 minutes.
It's 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, September 12th at the moment. So
I'll be online in 2 hours playing.
That's right. So. Boom. Okay. Oh, wait, what's your gamer tag for these people at home?
It's Rammer 34. It's out there already. So it's okay.
How dare you?
It's Rammer 34.
I already knew it was out there. That's okay. Just bury you. Okay. Yeah, we're good there. Thanks for doing that, Saavedra. Appreciate that.
Oh, you betcha.
I'm going to load up these. Jeez, it gets so hot when it's live broadcasting.
It's mostly just compliments on my excellent cameraman.
I feel like that's probably true.
Yeah, you got carpal tunnel from going left and right so fast there. That was pretty crazy.
Real sharp.
I was going to say, man, it's a warm phone right now. I can't really get over this. Let me pull up these questions here while I do this. But I was going to say, once again, it's strange that your competition in this space, like you were saying, is I like that you're approaching it as it's beyond gaming at this point. It's it's an entertainment. Because some people are like if you do a first-person shooter right now, they're like, well, we got to go against the big dogs. We got to go against Medal of Honor. We got to go against Call of Duty. You got to go against
Medal of Honor.
What's an EA title, guys? Have some respect.
True. Battlefield might be a bit more apt, but
it's like Medal of Honor. When was the last time anybody asked about?
Guys, I haven't played games in 15 years. I'm
pretty sure they're going up against GoldenEye. They're making a comeback.
Rare's doing pretty well these days. Yeah. So, guys, have some respect. God damn it. Yeah. Seriously though. But yeah, if you go up against a first-person shooter, obviously the usual suspects come up and who you're going against. But for the dev team to take the attitude that you guys are taking, which is just actually we're competing with your mobile phone because this occupies 90% of your time. Yeah. And what makes you put this down long enough? I remember several marathon sessions of playing NHL like the last, I don't know, at least 15 variations of the game. And playing so much through the development of cell phones that I would at one point I would play and I'd get mad at my fucking friends if they would check their phone and it's okay during intermission, little 1 second break with that, but in between every puck, if you're grabbing your phone, I'm playing through. I'm playing right through. I don't care. I will score on you and you will text whoever you're texting and be mad. I don't care. It's upsetting. But that's weird. That didn't used to exist. People didn't used to be able to interrupt their gaming experience like that. That's a real thing that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Very strange. I'm loading up these questions here. That was my filler comment.
And then you turned your phone off.
Yeah. I was like, make it good, Jayme. Here we go. Let's see here. Here's the full thread. Okay. I'll just ask the top voted one. Is that?
Yeah, fire away.
I'll clean her up if it's not very nice. These ones here. I said,
not very nice.
I said specifically, I will not insult my guest. So be nice, I said. So there you go. It says, as him, not ask, as him why they haven't updated scouting player development in a GM mode, franchise mode. It's not even legible, but it was the most upvoted comment. So they said, yeah, how do you plan on improving scouting? What affects player development, and how do you improve it?
Yeah, so I can't speak to the details of all of the little things that we did to improve scouting. So every single year, because we're continuing to build on the experience, it's important, again, we take the feedback from the fans, look at our scouting, look at our trade logic, look at our simulation logic, and really just try and optimize it. Just make it better every single year. So, to be honest with you, I can't speak to all the details of all the improvements we made to the logic. Some of the other producers can give you the low-level details around that, but I do know that we spend time on all of that stuff. Again, just taking the feedback from the fans that we get and just trying to optimize it and just make the tweaks to it.
I think they're fishing for like what do you do to make Ryan Nugent-Hopkins like 99 overall? You just let me know, okay?
Yeah.
You just let me know.
Up, down, left, right.
Yeah, you insert the contra code, Konami. Let's see. This is another highly upvoted comment for some reason. Rammer, why does the scoreboard still get in the way when the puck is in the top left-hand corner?
Well, it's supposed to go.
It's supposed to go.
So you can play
away.
with the size of it, first of all. So
That's
you
right.
You can play with the size of the scoreboard, and then it's when the puck's around it, there's logic for it to go translucent, transparent, so it disappears when the puck's up there. So it should not be getting in the way.
This one says, Rammer, will you marry me?
No.
No.
He's out. Firm no.
Firm no, yeah.
Firm no.
Didn't even want to see a pic.
No.
Tough luck on that one.
No.
Tough luck on that question.
Didn't match. Sorry, bud. Sorry out there.
What if that was the most upvoted question?
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Yeah. Sorry, user Unistan. I guess that's what it's named. Here's one. This is from Absolute Zero Off Low. Will we eventually be able to set captains and alternates in EA SHL? Not really a super important thing, but we did have that ability back in NHL 14.
Yes. So coming out of the beta, I think we got that feedback. We've heard that feedback. So I agree, it's not a super important thing, but for our fans that were able to do it before, it's one of the more requested features around the eSports Hockey League. So it's something that we're looking at. Can't commit to it right now, but it's absolutely we talk about lists. It's absolutely on our radar, and understand the fans want to bring it back. So
Big time.
We'll get it sorted. Just can't commit to when exactly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Makes sense. Hey, can you please ask Rammer what is going on with the stick lift button? Since the update, it's completely worthless, in this person's opinion. So what would you say?
Yeah, I would say that, prior. So one of the things that we're doing right now when we try to balance gameplay and we look at our poke checking, our stick lifting, our hitting, is to make sure that it's as balanced as possible. So I believe we dialed back the stick lift a little bit, the effectiveness of stick lift, because we felt it was too overpowered. But we'll see. I mean, the game's going live in an hour and a bit here. We'll get the feedback from it. There's lots of information to track around that stuff. We have a feel for what we'd like to see in terms of effectiveness of the stick lift, and we'll see how it's actually playing out when there's millions of games happening.
Because I saw a really neat infographic get passed out after you guys did open access.
Yeah.
Insider access, actually, is what it's called, I believe.
EA access, close.
EA access, insider EA access. I saw an infographic came out that said like some how many games were played total? Do you remember off the top?
I don't remember.
It was like thousands, like tens of thousands, like so many games in like a 4-day period. And then you guys actually gifted an extra day, didn't you? You're like,
we went a little bit early, and then with the beta, we actually extended the beta by a couple, 3-4 days on top of that too. So
just all the info you can possibly get, right? So there's pretty good wealth of data, but then this mass release will be like this will be the juice of it.
Yeah, that's where we get everyone worldwide going.
Yeah, right. Because I guess like the hardcore versus casual element is pretty, like that ratio is pretty high when you're dealing with the insider access.
Yeah,
it's just called EA access.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the kind of thing. Okay. Rammer, will there be future additions in owner mode, such as budget allocations for management and coaching and scouting? So I think we kind of touched on this earlier, but just in case someone's watching this right now, do you want me to repeat your answer?
No. I think the coaches, scouting, staffing are sort of a lot of things that people that play franchise mode are asking for on top of the stuff we had this year. So I think it's on our radar right now. We're trying to figure out sort of what it fits in from a priority perspective. I think as game designers, it's important for us to take the feedback from fans and prioritize the feedback and put in those features that our core fans are looking for. But there's also it's an obligation, in my perspective, for us to be thinking about what fans aren't thinking about as well. looking at genres outside of sports, looking at what's happening in the real world, just looking at different game mechanics out there, maybe in mobile or stuff like that, and just figuring out maybe the unexpected and putting some of those unexpected features back into our sports games. So, part of it is absolutely taking the feedback from the fans, understand what they want. The second piece of it is thinking about what they're probably not thinking about. Because if you're just the franchise guy, you probably have tons of feedback what you'd like to see in franchise mode. But 2 years ago, nobody's thinking about draft champions mode.
True.
It's gone over really well in
look
FIFA
at that reaction
Madden.
in this room alone. We're all like, well, that sounds pretty cool. Like, I'd actually play that,
And, very, very few fans, if any, would say, hey, 2 years ago, EA Sports, you guys should put a draft champions mode or something like that in your game. Like, no one's thinking about those things. You're just thinking about your franchise, your Be a Pro, your online experience, and saying they figure out how to make that better, and adding captains, assistant captains to the EA Sports Hockey League. So, there's an obligation for us to be thinking sort of outside of the box, to just try and deliver the unexpected and raise the bar and push the boundaries every single year.
I like that.
So do you guys have I know FIFA was doing the mobile drafting last year. Is that like something that the hockey game is also following? I'm not. I didn't play
What's mobile drafting?
It's just like where you open the deck of cards, almost like with Ultimate Team.
Yeah, so they have a FIFA Ultimate Team companion app. We had one a couple years ago. It's something, again, I'd love to be able to be sitting at my desk and be playing on my mobile phone. So it's something that I think a lot of fans have asked for that extension.
Was the companion app for the NHL, if I recall, wasn't it more like it was online based, right? Like in terms of friends following and things like that?
It was for Ultimate Team and also for GM Connected at the time as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, GM Connected.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of which, I wouldn't have brought this up until I just remember this now. In the subreddit where I gathered these questions today, about 2 weeks ago, I saved it somewhere deep. It's too much effort to go dig for it right now, but I saved it. Someone had wrote, guys, we don't ever do this, but we're opening up a franchise spot in our GM Connected League for PS3. If you guys are interested, we've been playing since its inception.
Wow.
So since that would be 2014, I guess?
Yeah.
Or 2013,
Probably
really.
13, that's right, yeah.
So they're like, for the last 3 years, we've just been updating manually, roster sharing the games and getting all this stuff going. And I think that's incredible that someone's, doing that. Like there's a wrestling game, just conversely. Are you familiar with WWF No Mercy, right?
Yeah,
From THQ. People and fans still play that game and still update it and still mod it and whatever. And that's pretty crazy. The GM Connected thing seems to always come up when I open the Florida questions all the time.
Yeah.
They're probably there's some, I haven't even found one yet, but I'm sure there's a variation of this. People are going to ask, GM Connected, can they expect it this year? Will it be next year, et cetera? How this goes.
So not for 17. I think when we look back at GM Connected, you look at the people that are actually playing it, there's a very small number of people playing it relative to the other modes. And, some of the menus were a little bit slow and things like that. But the people, the amount of leagues that came out there that were created, the majority of leagues only had 2 people playing it.
Yeah.
And then the majority of leagues that made it past, the halfway point of the first season, very few. The majority of, the amount of leagues that made it past the first season to the second season, even fewer. The amount of leagues that went past, it's so tiny. So, I think there's a lot of people asking for a connected online experience. We need to figure out, what the learnings were, better understand the learnings from there, and how to better optimize that experience. And if we're going to bring it back in the future, we'll figure out the right way to bring it back, because what we had before, there's some people still playing it. People loved it. I think people love the social element of it, the competitive element of it. But we need to figure out a way that appeases more fans when we bring it back, because when you look at the usage numbers, when you look at sort of the engagement numbers and how often actually people play it and how few leagues actually made it past the first couple of games, there was issues there that we need to resolve when we do eventually try to bring it back.
It's weird how people's desire to really jump into something versus like okay, we're actually doing it now. Like the amount of people that leave the show that have never done a podcast. Like you've done several. You've done many different shows, many different podcasts, many different episodes. The amount of people that leave this show and go, that was really fun. And then we're like, yeah, when we encourage them, we're always like, you should do your own show. By all means, you should do your own show. It's super fun. Do it all. And then they're like, yeah, well, what do I need to do? And they're like, okay, well, here's the amount of time it's going to probably take you. You have to be able to think this far ahead, and it's going to be every week. You have to commit to it. and then you could just see them recoil a little bit, and they go, oh well, I don't know, I don't know if I could find a date, and then, like, they just fall out. So it's probably some variation of that when they're like, it's like, hey man, you want to join my GM Connected League? Yeah, absolutely. We're only gonna play like, you know, twice a week, once a week. You play, right? We could just find some time for sure.
Yeah.
And then like two weeks in, it's like, yeah, I don't know, we still playing that, or yeah, I don't have time.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But it's funny though that one league is going so hard that they were like campaigning to have someone, you know, so they have a full league this year or something like that. That was pretty wild. I thought that was pretty crazy. What was I going to say? Man, I had a follow-up comment to that, and I lost it with my stupid mod wrestling thing. Let me just scan one more to see if there's any more. Oh, yeah. Okay, here's one. This comes from 9 Foot Banana.
Nice.
Good name. Ask him what is EA going to do about the player overall creep. I think they're referring to like the ratings climb.
Yep.
Player ratings are getting higher and higher, so fourth liners are into the 80s, and stars are getting up to the mid 90s. Kids and juniors are in the 70s. We don't want to be like Madden, where you have 399 overalls on each team. What can we expect for roster sharing moving forward? So, like, first of all,
I'll address the first one. Let me get the first piece first.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I was just going to say, the guy who's asking about that, it's like, first of all, it's a smack to the person who did all the ratings, that, you know, because they only want a roster share so they can do their own thing.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, please, go ahead.
Maybe we shouldn't cap ratings at 99 or 100. Just go to, make a scale of 1,000.
Maybe that's the scale, right?
Right.
You're like, oh, Crosby's
It's all relative anyway, right?
589
Yeah,
Crosby.
that's the key I was going to say. That's the key, right? For us, for us with 11 leagues in the game, it's important that, you know, all the players feel right relative to one another. That's the most important. Ratings aside, numbers aside, relative to one another, the players feel right. So if I take a kid from the CHL, bring him up and put him on the Vancouver Canucks, does he feel like a CHL player should feel when he's playing in the NHL? Or you take the worst player in Europe or the best player on a European team and bring him to the NHL, and how does that player? How does Anton Rodin? How's he going to fit in the NHL? What does he feel like when he plays? So that's the most important piece of it. The range of the ratings. What the high point is, what the low point is, you know, that's all debatable. It's, for us, the most important thing is just the relative scale, and then making sure that the most important piece is making sure that the ratings that we have in there for each of the players allow them to play the way that you expect them to play and the way that you expect them to feel when you actually control them on the ice. Those are the most important things. The numbers are just, you know, a scale that, you know, sports games went to way back when. The most important thing is when you're playing with Bo Jackson from back in the day, or you're playing with Henrik Sedin right now, that he feels the way you expect Bo Jackson or Henrik Sedin to feel in the game itself.
Right. I think some of the uproar was probably because, like, Patrick Kane's defensive, you've probably heard this already. Yeah, the defensive awareness for Patrick Kane is like higher than most defensemen, like actual defensemen. Like how does a decision like that happen? I understand you guys work with scouts, right?
Yeah. So we got a guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So you work with a legit NHL scout.
Yeah.
And they send you these ratings. Now, is this guy from Chicago? Is that how this works?
No, not at all. But he's,
Yeah.
we don't have the opportunity to sit and assess every single player, and that's his full-time job, is to look at everyone in the NHL, the AHL, the CHL, the East Coast Hockey League, understand their strengths and weaknesses. So, you know, understanding Patrick Kane and how, how his sort of defensive awareness, I don't like that term really, but how he is defensively relative to other forwards or other people that play his position. And so it's all back to the relative scale, right?
Because it's not he's defensive awareness, whatever, high rating, and then it's relative to his position, right?
That's right.
So so people are like, oh, he's got a higher rating than Duncan Keith. And you're like, well, Duncan Keith's the defenseman, though. So for defenseman, his defensive awareness is, you know, it's relative. People they think that overall is literally overall.
Plus, it's a terminology thing, too. Some people might they might hear defensive awareness, and it means something to them.
Exactly.
But the game stats are not maybe accurately or, doing that specifically as they think they are.
That's right.
I just got a question, actually. This is my own personal question. How about that? Doing actual work. How about that? Not crowdsourcing all these questions. Nice. I was like, these questions are whatever. I was just thinking right now, in that example, if I was playing franchise mode with Chicago, and I wanted to put, for whatever stupid reason, Kane as like Duncan Keith's defensive partner. Yeah. You know, to take advantage of his defensive awareness or whatever.
Yeah.
Is there is there something in that algorithm that says, no, actually, you can't take a winger and put him on defense? That'll ruin your chemistry. Is there like a chemistry rating there that gets affected?
But you can put it back. You can put it back there. And you put, if you talk Patrick Kane specifically, he's not going to do very well against some of the bigger forwards in the league.
True.
playing defense. His backward skating probably isn't going to be as great. His mobility is probably going to be pretty good. He's going to have a hard time in front of the net because of his size, battling some of the big forwards. So, pros and cons. I mean,
just like real life.
Just like real life. Just like real life. Yeah.
I like that. Did you have that not be a penalty in the sense of position? When I mean that, like because of the winger defenseman designation, did you have that not? Was that a choice not to make that a penalty because of players like, say, Brent Burns or like Dustin Byfuglien?
Yeah.
Like where they do actually switch back.
Yeah,
and forth
if you were just to scrap the whole defensive awareness thing in general and just look at the players that are mobility wise are really, really good, can shoot the puck, have offensive skills, like those. That's what we're talking about, the Duncan Keiths, the Brent Burns of the world, right? Brent Burns does pretty good for. I'm sure Duncan Keith would probably do okay in a forward position.
Probably do okay,
right?
Yeah.
Ben Hutton. I just found this out. Ben Hutton played forward until just a couple of years ago.
Really?
So yeah, he was a forward when he started in the CHL. He was a forward, then he asked to play D for a little bit.
I know that Subban played forward for the Belleville Bulldogs for like most of his career, and then his dad said something along the lines of, if you want more ice time,
right,
you should play defense.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I'll do that. And that's why one of his brothers is also a defenseman. One of his brothers is a goalie.
Yeah.
Because you get the most ice time, get the most face time. Makes sense. Makes a lot more sense. Because everyone wants to score the goals.
Everyone wants to score goals.
That's right. There's only so much ice time for that. Speaking of which, let me ask you this. I know you obviously have interacted with a lot of players in your time at EA. We switch gears here off NHL for a second, the NHL game, and just chat hockey just as fans of the sport here for a minute. That'd be kind of cool. We have some really cool things happening in the world of hockey right now with the World Cup of hockey.
Yeah.
Obviously, that mode is featured in the game,
Yep.
which I'm very excited to play. I think that's really cool. You guys are taking advantage of that international aspect. I've always wanted that in the game. I've always thought it'd be cool to have it within the game where you can like actually have those teams selected. Like I know you've always had the national teams represented, but they actually have the licensed version of those teams in games. I love that. I think it's amazing. Let me ask, what is your prediction right now, Rammer? Since you're doing so well in predictions, who is your prediction for the finals game? Let's just pick that, because if you could pick the finals, pretty good.
So Canada's going to be there for sure.
For sure, because the God King Carey Price the other day in the exhibition, that was his first return to the ice, and I have to say I watched with bated breath, and I was very actually happy to see him take the L in the first back, because now he knows what that feels like, and he'll never go back there. That's Carey Price motive, guys. Just want to let you know. Just didn't know if you knew that. But
is this all just a setup for Carey Price praise?
This is
that's all it was, wasn't it?
That's all it was.
Setup.
Elaborate ruse.
Yeah.
Very elaborate. Yes.
Does he start the first game of the tournament?
That's very interesting. Let me ask. Yeah, would you start Braden Holtby or would you start Carey Price for the first game?
I would have to see Carey Price again. I'd have to see him in practice. I mean, those guys that are close to him and see him in practice every single day and see how his confidence is and how rusty he is. Like off one game, as a general fan, you can't make that call.
I guess so. I saw not Patty Kane, but someone on Patrick Kane's line lit up Price when Price went into the butterfly, and all I could think of was like, oh my God. His knees are made of like old rubber bands now. This is not gonna it's over. And in my heart of hearts, as a Habs fan, I'm like, oh my God. And then throughout the game, he was getting much better. And I don't know, like people forget, like he didn't play for like 9 months. Like that's a huge endeavor.
That's a full
death
cycle.
People are gonna think that the Habs are part of the World Cup.
Yeah,
like the 17, the Habs.
They should be.
Just added last night. The Habs just got added to the tournament roster.
You didn't even let him answer your first question, by the way. His prediction for the
about
final.
him. Yeah. No. Sorry. So who do you think is going to make it to the finals? You say Canada's going to be.
I say Canada. I gotta look how the bracket actually plays out. Who's on the other side?
Let's look this up real quick.
So it's Canada, U.S., Sweden, Finland on the other side.
Sweden, Finland,
North America.
Do you think any of the specialty teams like that, like when I say specialty, I mean like Team North America, Team Europe? Do you think they have a shot? North America, you think? Because that would be what a sweetheart story that would be for Team
That would be
North.
fantastic, and I would love to see that. But
They
you
look ace right now.
They look pretty good right now, man. They do look really good right now. Hold on here. I'm gonna get
Europe definitely is not making it anywhere. So
I'd like to
just put them out.
Jeez.
They're done.
If Finland's or Sweden's on the other side, I could see a Canada Sweden.
Canada, Sweden. People, I don't know why it's every year. People sleep on Sweden and they sleep on Finland, and they're like, yeah, well, we got this. But then every year they're perennial. They're they're on the podium every year.
Yep.
The one team I think I'm confident saying I don't expect to see on the podium would be Russia. I don't think Russia's going to Europe make a splash, or Europe, Team Europe or Team Russia.
I'm excited for that first round match between North America and Sweden because I think they're going to start Markstrom against North America because they play Finland the day before, and then they'll be coming off the one night's rest to play North America. So Markstrom will get the start against the young guns, which will be.
Is that confirmed? Is he going to get the start?
Well, you got to think that's.
You would think so.
Yeah.
I'm in a room with 2 Canuck fans here. Like, you're pretty.
I'm just saying, Markstrom's going to get lit up by the fucking young kids.
Jeez, guys.
I love Markstrom. Don't get me wrong, but come on now.
Let's see here. So we have Team Canada, Team Czech Republic, Team Finland, Team Russia, Team Sweden, Team USA, Team Europe, and Team North America. Team Czech Republic. Any chance of them going farther than first round of this tournament?
I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no, just based on the other teams that are there.
Really, yeah. Because, I don't know, man. It's pretty tough. I'm going to go ahead and here's my finals pick.
Okay.
I'm pick Team Canada. No reason.
Versus the Habs.
Versus the Habs.
Team Habs.
Team Habs. Price will play both nets. And
He'll be real tired.
0-0 draw.
It'll be a draw. As God intended. Yeah. No, I'll have. I'm gonna pick Team Canada, and I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Finland. I think Finland is gonna just sneak one in there. Just, I don't know. They have the speed and they have the skill to make a lot of those teams look silly. That's all I'm gonna say. Mm-hmm. And you know what's weird? On paper, though, Russia should be the team. Every year.
I watched them the other day. I mean, Ovechkin and Tarasenko on your power play. Are you kidding?
This is a gimme, right? But then what? You're missing I don't know, Makarov.
I don't
basically.
Know. If you, I don't know if you saw Tarasenko's goal from the top of the circles.
When
might have on the power play a couple nights ago.
I saw the highlights.
I saw him in the highlights too. He just placed it in the net. His shot is ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Cover athlete,
What's
NHL 17.
But cover athlete of NHL 17.
Literally just placed it. Just literally looked, found a spot, and just placed it in the net.
That was the most smooth segue plug ever for the cover athlete ever. Just saying, man, it's amazing. What's his defensive awareness?
Good question.
99.
I don't know. No, it could be. It might be a little bit low.
A little bit low.
He might call us on that.
His shot's beauty, though. I bet.
His shot's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I got a good question for who's going to get hurt in the World Cup of hockey?
Oh,
one guy's going to get
God.
A star player is going to go down.
Well, we've already seen one guy go down. Didn't the new horse in the net there for the Toronto Maple Leafs go down?
Oh, Freddie Anderson.
went down.
He's already out.
Preseason, yeah.
They traded quite a bit for that guy. So I think he's for the season, right?
No, he's down 3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks for body injury.
Well, he'll be back then.
He'll be back.
Gives
him more time to play NHL 17.
Yeah, that's right.
He's
planned this.
We talked about we're going back to NHL 17 for a second.
We could always go back. I was trying to take the pressure off the accelerator there. That's all.
We talked about sort of that. We talked about the three sort of motivations for playing: the social, the fantasy, and the competitive. So Freddie, when I met Freddie, huge fan of NHL, huge fan of the EA Sports Hockey League. And what he does is he plays the EA Sports Hockey League with his buddies back home. And so he uses our game to keep in contact with all the buddies he grew up with, and they play on an EA Sports Hockey League team together. He doesn't play goalie, but he's ridiculous. He plays it for the social aspect of the experience. So
yeah, just chirping and stuff.
Yeah.
What's his gamer tag, Rammer? Can't expose him here.
No.
Obviously.
No.
See that, C-Mart? I was socially aware that you can't.
You did try a little, though.
I did.
You would have taken it.
Yeah, if you would have said it, I would have definitely been boom, flash it on the screen, something like that. That's funny. you just said something, Saavedra, that made me think. For injuries. I don't want to speculate on someone's pain, but
no, but it's somebody like
someone is going to go down.
Somebody's going to go down.
I don't know.
USA is already fighting and stuff. They're chucking bombs.
Yeah, it was good hockey.
How chippy was that game? That was pretty good, eh? The Team Canada and Team USA. I was thinking to myself watching, because I hadn't watched hockey in about 4 months at that point.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm like, man, these guys look like they didn't take a second off. Especially Joe Thornton, who did not shave his playoff beard.
Oh,
by the way.
man, that's nice.
He is looking nice. Just
nice.
Just prehistoric in his approach. I love it. It's a beautiful look.
He's using product in that thing for sure.
For sure. He has 2
sponsorship,
possibly 3 bombs that he's using. Yeah. Beard bombs. Yeah, he's going product placement. Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say, in the World Cup of Hockey, there is like a lot of intrigue right now within the Team North America because of the younger players.
Yeah.
And this might be the only time we get to see Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews and Jack Eichel, all playing, and obviously so many other amazing players on that team. Do you feel like this game, because it replaces the All-Star format, right? They're not going to do an All-Star game this year?
No, they're still doing All-Star in
they?
LA. Yeah, All-Star in LA this year.
Okay, then let me change my question then. Do you feel like this World Cup of Hockey, do you feel like this kind of overshadows the All-Star game now a little bit? Because, the Team North America aspect is like very reminiscent of how they used to do the before, when they switched it from conferences to.
Yeah, I think they're two. So I think no is the answer, in my opinion. I think the two are completely separate events. I think this people are, just pent up demand for hockey, and to see such high caliber hockey to kick off the hockey season is fantastic. Instead of having to wait to go through training camps and stuff like that. So I think that's fantastic. And I think when the All-Star game comes around, people are going to be excited just to see those guys on the ice together.
They should have skills competition for this World Cup of Hockey.
Well, yeah,
they should have. That's a missed opportunity for sure.
No kidding.
Yeah, they could have definitely done a skills comp. That would have been very interesting to see some of the young guns, I think.
So why didn't they do that at the Olympics?
Yeah,
individual gold medals for, boom.
Okay, how about this
I'd watch the shit out of
that. Individual. Hardest slap shot, gold medal.
Why not?
There you go. In terms
That's part of All-Star game.
It is, I do enjoy the skill comp more than the actual game.
Last year was good, though. The 3-on-3 last year, the game was really good.
Last year actually was very compelling. I'll give you that. But it is weird, though, how like the skills comp was this kind of sideshow, freak show thing, and then now it's this bragging rights kind of thing that it's turned into. I was going to say, let's hear some predictions. Do you think Gary Bettman's going to hold on to his guns here and not allow the players to go to the Olympics in 2018? Is it 2018 Olympics? Next year?
It'll be 2018.
Yeah, next year? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens here. I think the World Cup is sort of the first dabble by the NHL and the PA into sort of international hockey, and I think we'll see what the feedback is coming out of it, and I don't know.
It probably ties more into that Saavedra's question, which is how many injuries.
Well,
because if 3 or 4 injuries come out, I'm sure the owners will just veto it.
I mean, there's injuries, there's the insurance stuff, there's.
That's right. Didn't Team Canada have a weird thing with the 2014 Olympics where they could only practice in they couldn't practice on skates? Do you remember this?
Early on, in summertime.
Yeah,
in the summertime they had to do like walk-arounds.
Yeah, like walk-around rollerball.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, that's really strange, right? That'd be like if you put together an all-star football team or a soccer team, and you're like, we can't use balls today, but we can draw
touch football.
We can touch football, basically. Like that's really strange, but it all comes down to insurance and money.
I think so, yeah.
Very weird, very strange concept.
That said, ball hockey is pretty sweet, though.
Ball hockey is pretty rad, though. Yeah. Do you play ball hockey?
Do I play ball hockey?
Yeah.
A little bit at work here once in a while.
Yeah.
I've been playing.
Well, with the boys down at EA play a bit
I'll
of
tell you.
ball
Well,
hockey?
one of the things we do. So I play once a year for sure. One of the things we do at work is because we work closely with the NHL, so they'll come out usually October, November, and they'll send out 4 sets of NHL jerseys, and we break up everyone involved in the franchise into 4 teams. And we have a little, those mini Stanley Cups that we play for. And every, I would say it's been a couple years now, but every, 3rd or 4th year, we'll bring the real Stanley Cup so guys can come to work and play ball hockey for the real Stanley Cup, and then get to take it out at night and have some fun with it. So.
What? So a ball hockey tournament leads to that? Dude, that's the coolest thing ever. I like how casually you just said that. You're like, yeah,
well, get to come to work and play for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
like, the real Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it's like a small tournament. You're like, yeah, and then I won the Stanley Cup. I would give my life to be in that game. Yeah. I got frostbite once playing ball hockey in Kenora in the winter. It was like my friend was like, you can be goalie, and handed me the blocker and the trapper there. The glove and the trapper there, and then I put them on and played for like 45 minutes. Had the time of my life. Came inside and pulled off my gloves, and it was like pins and needles and knives going through my hands, and I was like, "What's going on?" Just started bawling my eyes. I was just such a young guy. I started bawling my eyes out, and then it was my friend's mom. She was like, "You didn't wear gloves under the gloves, like." Because it's like minus like 25 or something like that. I'm playing in ball hockey, and I was like, I thought the gloves would act as gloves. Like, just so stupid, that kind of thing. It was really bad. It was a bad situation.
Good tale, bud.
Good tale. You're like, yeah. Anyway, now I use my hands to play NHL 17. Boom, turned it all around. There you go. I guess here's the thing. I'm trying to respect professionally where you are with respect to the release of the game. I want to pump it as much as possible. I want to be able to put as many eyes and ears on it as possible, of course. But I also I just think you're like one of the good guys. You're a good guy. You're a nice dude to hang out with. You're a nice guy. You have good vibes. There are a lot of people in this industry that are not of the same vibe as you. So I kind of wanted to highlight that about you because
I'll pay you later.
Yeah, exactly. I'll put you over in public.
Yeah.
The thing about that though is like you have interests outside of gaming.
Sure.
What is something in your very limited time that you enjoy doing?
Right now, just playing with my kid. And that's probably the first thing for me. I think she's at an age now where it's like a little buddy, and just go hang out and do stuff. It's pretty fun.
How old is she now?
She's 8.
8.
So that's probably first and foremost. And then second, I like to get out and golf. I love golf, and I love just, you take 3-4 hours and you go on the golf course, and you're challenging yourself every time that you go out there. And you meet, so I'm the type, like I love it. So I'll go out there and golf by myself, and you meet just fascinating people on the golf course. And when you golf with strangers for 3.5-4 hours, you meet, people from all kinds of different walks of life, and you get to hear their life story in 4 hours. It's pretty amazing. I highly recommend. People don't, people are like, hey, you play golf by yourself. That's kind of weird, but I highly recommend playing golf with yourself with some strangers because you just get people's highlights and their lowlights. You get it all in 4 hours. You go on a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, we kind of scratch that itch a little bit here with what you're saying because every week we get these like very unique interactions with people. Sometimes we have the return of a guest like yourself, and we'll get to hear something like that where I'm like, that's very interesting. And because you have these, in a world where everyone's checking their phones every few minutes and all that stuff, you have these prolonged dialogue with people where like you're on the links and you're just like, hey, where'd you go to school? Oh man, I went to school here and there, that kind of thing. And you get these really, really well fleshed out, developed stories. That's pretty cool. Where do you get that kind of social awareness? Like, did you know someone growing up like that? Was that like?
No, I don't know. I think you just. So for me, when I started working, when I left sports, I never thought that I'd be part of a team anymore. I think that's like team is done.
Camaraderie
and people establishing a vision, whether it's a Stanley Cup or a championship, whatever, and everyone doing everything it takes to get to that goal. And then started in games, it started Radical and then got to EA, and being part of that team atmosphere and realizing that everyone has a different story, different path to getting there. And then, I look at, like my parents, stuff like that, who have from the Caribbean, from Trinidad, and now, I'm working in hockey. Go figure that story out, right?
Right. Yeah.
Everyone's got their story. I just find people's stories fascinating. I find people's jobs, their professions, fascinating. I got buddies who are cops. I'm like, buddy, take me on a ride along. Let's see what you do day in, day out. I got a buddy who works, in the restoration industry. I'm like, take me along for a day. Let me see what you do. Let me see your world as, unfiltered, and just see how you live every single day. And I think just a fascinating, same thing with traveling too. When I travel, as much as I like sitting on a resort and being an all-inclusive, I also like getting off the resort. And then, we were in the Dominican last year and just seeing the way people live around the world.
The actual culture,
seeing the actual culture, and
not the resort culture.
Yeah, seeing people live in like places with galvanized roofs and no running water and stuff like that. And that's, and 8 people in a room like this, and that's people's lives, and taking my daughter and let her sort of experience that and see that it's not easy for a lot of people out there. I think I'm just fascinated with people's stories more than anything.
That's cool, man. I really appreciate that, because you have proven yourself in the past to be a really good travel guide. That was funny when we.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We had this encounter in an airport, like on a red eye. It was like 4 a.m. or something like that.
That's right. Going to Nova Scotia, right?
That's
you were
right.
in Nova Scotia.
I was going to Halifax, and you were saying. You hit me on Twitter on my DM, and you're like, "Hey, if you have any time, check out this little town called Lunenburg. You'll love it." And then you know what? We did have time, and it was like the highlight of our trip. It was
That's
actually
awesome.
yeah. And think about you completely shaped.
I shaped your vacation.
Think about that. Like we probably wouldn't have gone, and I was like, "No, we should go. We should." I was like, "It comes on a strong recommendation," which I appreciate now even more so, because if you were just like whipping that out there, like if you want to, and then I show them like, "What the fuck."
Yeah.
It's like, what's the name of the boat that's there? It's on the Dime.
It's on the Dime. The Blue Nose.
Yeah, the Blue Nose.
The Blue Nose is there, yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little boat. Like that's not
But
something.
It's on our dime.
Yeah. It's not little at all, by the way. It's like giant boat. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. Hey, I was gonna say, I don't want to take any more of your time. I know we've got a lot to cover here, and you've had quite a long year, if I can say so. I'll release you from your earthly duties here in a moment. But Rammer, if people want to follow you online, how can they do so?
Follow me on Twitter at Rammer34.
Rammer34. And Saavedra, how do people follow you online?
You can follow me at the Saavedra on Twitter.
That's right.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Saavedra.
There you go.
Saavedra, Saavedra. And Chris Martin, your return to the show. Wolf did fantastic while you were away, by the way, the last few weeks.
Yeah, I believe it.
I think it's amazing the work that you do. So thanks for coming back and keep doing it so well. How can people follow you?
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
Nope. No option?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, no.
No, I love it, and it's back. The running joke is
mysterious.
Yeah, mysterious C-Mart.
People are gonna stalk you to figure it out.
Nope, not mysterious. Just not a.
It actually says in the notes, "Don't bother." When it says quoting C-Mart, it says, "I just don't bother," like that. And if you want to follow the podcast, you can do so by going to intergalacticinterviews.com, or you can find us on iTunes and Stitcher and YouTube and SoundCloud. Don't know how much longer we'll be on SoundCloud, but check us out there if you want. And just saying, yeah. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at MD_Boomsday. That's all across the board. Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, diggity blue, blah, blah. Okay. If you guys want to go buy NHL 17, it's available worldwide on Thursday, September 15th, and it's available in North America.
27 minutes.
27 minutes from this moment. But it's available September 13th, 2016, and it's available multi-platform. Whoosh. What can I say? Rammer, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Friend of the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Always fun.
Thanks for coming.
Always the best, man. And you guys at home, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in to Facebook Live and shooting us your questions. Thanks to Reddit, that subreddit. I think that might be the first time anyone's ever thanked Reddit publicly. And that's about it. All right. We'll see you guys all next week. Love ya.